great.
And then hopefully address online successes.
Cool. All good? Awesome. Okay. Oh, 2 more, you said? Yeah. Wait, just a moment. All right, so it's time to go over what the next steps look like in this work and our grad level longer term program. Now, many of you were nominated by an alumni of ours to be here for this 2-day experience. So maybe you heard a little bit about what they experienced in grad. And so for many of you, this is where the curiosity is. I've been talking to a lot of you on breaks about this. Now, the grad program is very similar to this 2-day experience in that you can't really know it until you actually get there and experience it, which I'm guessing is kind of what this felt like. We really believe around here that making this event free is important because you need to demonstrate your value by actually demonstrating your value. It's very hard to articulate this kind of work. So now we want to just go over what the grad program looks like, how it's structured, what you would learn, gain from it, what you would experience. But this session is also going to teach you how to structure building a transformational speech, how to rehearse that speech, how to actually have a process behind it, whatever your future looks like.
We're grabbing the paper towels.
And as you've started to notice over the past couple of days, if you really try to achieve something transformational in this kind of work without having a process behind it, it's kind of absurd. It's just as absurd as prepping to run a marathon by taking a jog once around the block once and just hoping that your body will show up for you on the day of the race. This company has been doing this for over 10 years. We've had over 24 cohorts graduated by this point. And pretty much the only regret we hear from our alumni is they wish they had just taken the leap on themselves sooner, gone through the process, because everybody, regardless of their goals, transforms. They get so much better.
The experience that you will have in grad is similar to the experience that Russell and I had in our respective grad schools at either Yale or NYU. Only it will be for a fraction of the time, and luckily a fraction of the price. And of course, we'll be focused on speaking rather than acting.
Yeah.
This is because over a decade ago, when this program was created, it was created because when Michael Port, one of our co-founders, was on the speaking circuit, he was a speaker who would spend the whole day at an event. He wouldn't just flow in right before his speech and dip out after he took his bow. He would actually stay and support the other speakers. But he would often leave the day feeling disappointed, underwhelmed, because he would see speaker after speaker underperforming their potential, even though they had so much to offer. The way he describes it, it sounds a little bit like Groundhog Day. He'd wake up in some nameless chain hotel. It looks identical to the last one he was in, on the side of a highway in some nameless city, and he'd wander into a conference center with the same ugly carpeting as the last conference center, and he'd watch what felt like the same speech over and over and over because they contained all of the same cliches and tropes.
Yeah, you really start to notice that the more you attend these things, especially I find beginnings, intros to speeches. We've all seen the speech that starts with, imagine a world where, or, you want to know the moment I knew I hit rock bottom? Or, this is the formula for wealth and success. Now, you know that we believe you can be a performer or you can be a critic. You cannot be both. So this is to be said that around here, we believe in not only identifying the holes, the things that are not working in the industry, and actually creating solutions, investigating how can we choose the path of the performer instead.
Yes, so this performer mindset that we're talking about, that's the basis of the heroic curriculum. And without having attended performance training like we have, how would you know what to do on stage? Or what is even possible to be done on a stage where you're in front of people, wherever that may be? Well, you wouldn't. Of course, you're going to look around and copy what everyone else is doing. And if there's no manual for how to do it successfully, and everyone is just copying everyone else, then how do you know that what you're copying is actually effective? Why? Well, you don't. And so you have to let yourself off the hook for that. If any of this sounds familiar. The journey towards mastery often begins with a moment of forgiveness for choices made in the past. So just like the speakers that Michael saw that were underperforming their potential, that didn't have the skill to accomplish their goals yet, you may be in that same boat, but we know what you're capable of, and grad is a place where you can discover that.
I know that we spent a couple days kind of seeing what this other path looks like. So I think it's helpful on day 2 to give yourself a moment to think about what your goals are and whether they're in alignment with this kind of work, whether you feel like you're in the right place. So I'm going to list a few different categories, and feel free to respond to as many categories as you want, because you probably belong in more than one. So round of applause if you are a professional speaker or you aspire to become a professional speaker of some sort. Round of applause if you are an academic or you're in the corporate world and you want to use your speaking to enhance your research or your business in some way. Round of applause if you're more of an entrepreneur and you want to use your speaking to enhance your book of business or your brand, perhaps. And round of applause if you are more of a mission-driven leader and you want to use your speaking to help change the world in some way. You know, we say around here, we believe you can change the world one speech at a time, but you really have to have craft to support those goals.
I have 2 more questions, and these are a little more provocative. Round of applause if you feel that the script of your speech is currently a 10 out of 10. I told you they were provocative. Second question, round of applause if the performance, the execution of your speech is currently a 10 out of 10. That's okay. That is a good sign. It means that you're in the right place. In fact, the perfect place at the perfect moment, because grad is for people who want to get better. Sometimes people think that you have to want to be working at the highest end of the professional circuit to train with us. That's not true. Yes, we are focused on excellence, but all of our students have different goals, and grad is built to support those. You may be a speaker who wants to be earning $40K a speech. That's great. You may have one speech you're going to do once, but you want to do it effectively. You may be an author who just needs a speech to get yourself on stages and your book on bestseller lists. You may need the skill set to build your brand in the virtual space or otherwise. Regardless, our training is built to support all of that.
Talk about the litmus test.
I mean, we always joke, to work with us, really the litmus test is twofold. The first question you need to ask yourself is, do you want to get better? And the second question is, are you a pleasure to work with?
That's the important one. That's what we really make sure about.
So if the answers to both of those are yes, then you belong at Heroic. If so, then grad is for you.
Yeah, and remember what we said in the intro yesterday, especially in group training. If you are looking around the room and you are still feeling that anxiety that you are not as good as the people around you, or you're not as clear with your goals as the people around you, you're wrong. You belong here. We are here to help you with those goals. And if you are still around here thinking, I am too extraordinary to be in this company, you are also wrong. You gotta let that ego take a break and embrace this deep level of learning. Because grad is a meaningful experience. It transforms you not only professionally, but personally. And what we find when we have our students go through this long-term program is, even in the middle of the program, people say, hey, I've been speaking at this conference for years, and this is the first time somebody came up to me and said, what happened to the speaker that I saw all those other times? How did you do this? How did you get so good so fast?
Yes, that really does happen. But I think, speaking of fast, we should look at some of the program details so you have a sense of what this is all about. So, to understand the process, we're going to start with what you don't do. You don't write a script by starting to write a script. You start with ideation. So that is why Module 1 of Script Writing Mastery is ideation. It's all about identifying a problem that your audience wants to solve and that meeting planners want to book, but they haven't yet been able to solve using the current solutions. Of course, this means that you also need to know who your audience is, or you can't accurately identify a problem they face and a solution that they would pay for. Then you will establish your foundational 5. We had an introduction to the foundational 5 yesterday. So that is one of the classes in this module, just one of the ways into this work. So Module 1, ideation, is all about ensuring that your ideas are structured and well-sounded, in essence, that they're worth working on. Even if you don't care about charging for your speech, you still need to have well-structured, valuable, innovative ideas to get in front of your ideal audience. So we start with your ideas, because your ideas need to work if you want to work. And remember, you don't have to have these ideas before you come to grad. You find them at grad. That's what grad is for. So then we will get into Module 2, build scaffolding. And all of what I'm detailing here is the script writing mastery phase of the program. So Module 2, build your scaffolding. This is where you will build scaffolding. You'll build frameworks, you'll create an outline, all of which will make the eventual writing so much easier. The class with the post-it notes yesterday, that is one of the classes in this module. So that is just one way into pulling the content out of you. So with Module 1, ideation, and Module 2, scaffolding, you take a process-oriented and measured approach to writing a script, so that by the time you get to the actual script writing, it will flow. It might even be fun, because it will likely be the most successful you've ever felt writing before. And it's especially helpful if you are not a writer, or you don't consider yourself a writer, you've never written anything before. This kind of structure process will take all the burden off. It'll make it much easier, as you have found with the frameworks we've taught you so far. Now, then we get into Module 3, which is script writing. So you get to, yes, you guessed it, actually write your script. And, like I said, it's worlds easier than if you just sat down at your laptop and you waited for like the script writing gods to turn on the faucet. It's easier because you've already built the structure, the outline, the frameworks. You've built in the contrast so it can flow for you. We will also give you a process to follow with a daily word count, depending on the type of speech that you're working on, to keep you on track. Then we are going to go into the final module, Module 5, which brings it all home using our editing checklist. We're going to tweak and up-level your script until it is ready to be brought into rehearsal. Now, that is an important distinction because it's not a final draft. It's not a finished script. It is a rehearsal-ready draft. Now, for many of you, a rehearsal-ready draft may be an entirely new concept. If you bring what you think is a finished draft into rehearsal, you will quickly learn that it needs to change. Because something written for the page must change when it's brought to the stage. And that rhymes, so you know it's true. So a rehearsal-ready draft is ready to be transitioned from the page to the stage. And luckily, it will change so that it sounds more authentic, more naturalistic coming out of your mouth.
I know we keep talking about writing a script, and I know that might be new for a lot of you in the way that you work. And you might still be thinking, okay, yes, I keep hearing this script thing, but really, do I need that? Can't I just get by on riffing off an outline, using my charm, my expertise? And I would say to you, if you're still asking yourself that, yeah, you totally could get by on that. And it might actually go well for you sometimes, but the question is, will it actually be great? And will it be great every single time that you perform? I mean, do you want to settle for the first rehearsal? Do you want to settle for the first draft of your work? Is that what your audience and your message deserve? If the answer is yes, then sure, go ahead and do that. But that's not how we do things around here. We really believe in front-loading the work so that by the time you ever are in front of an audience, you actually are free to connect with them, to actually affect how they feel about the thing, not just think about the thing. And it's actually going to feel relaxed and easy and fun because it gives you, the performer, a certain amount of trust in your work, that it'll work every single time you step foot on the stage.
Yes, so these 4 modules, they comprise the first half of your grad journey. So this is the script writing mastery portion. Within this portion, you will have written worksheets, templates, and weekly live sessions that will also be recorded because we don't expect that you'll be able to attend everything live. Every student has a different schedule, different needs, so you will approach the training in the way that is best suited for you. In addition, you will spend a few hours each week writing your speech, which you would expect, of course, in speech writing mastery. Let's see. At the end of this process, you will have that rehearsal-ready draft. And you will have the skill set that you can use to develop into any kind of content you need. Speeches into breakouts, into workshops, into TED Talks, into pitches, leading meetings, etc., etc. During this session, you will learn from our heroic writing faculty, who you haven't met yet, actually.
Yeah, they're awesome. So if you enjoyed working with the performance faculty, which we, the two of us and Keely are some of the performance faculty, they are really outstanding. Here are some of the people that you get to work with. They're incredible people in their own careers. They have written best-selling books. They have ghostwritten mega best-selling hits that you've probably read and didn't even realize. They founded and sold publishing companies. But the reason they work here is because they are equally passionate about helping our students unlock their message and their potential out in the world. They're awesome people.
Yeah, what you might not realize is that through the process of writing a script, you are creating a set of proprietary signature intellectual property that you can use, like I said, to develop into other kinds of written content, sure, but also into entirely other forms of IP, such as an online course, a podcast, a book, et cetera, et cetera. So when you enroll in grad, you're also laying the groundwork for a substantial and scalable thought leadership business model that you can use to leverage for years or decades to come even, because this program is teaching you writing, content development, the skills of intellectual property, and that's IP with which you can make your name and build your brand.
The entire grad process, which we'll get into the second phase of it in a moment here, it's really a container where you get to show up with like-minded individuals who are trying to experiment, trying to explore the full range of their possibilities in a space that facilitates that. And my recommendation for you if you go through this program is that the students that have, I think, the richest experience are the ones that achieve a certain level of trust. Not just trust in the faculty or in the process, although that is important too, but the ones who achieve a certain level of trust in yourselves, that you can actually set a substantial goal, a goal that you might think is even farther than you think you're capable of achieving, and trusting that you will slowly but surely sneak up on that goal. We have the best job in the world. I hate to brag, but we do, because we get to see so many people who have these amazing careers and lives come together, and we get the honor of helping you unlock your message and how you can actually go out there and change the world. And it gives us so much purpose in our lives. So we are so lucky for that and what we get to witness in our students.
We are. And that brings us to the next phase of the program, which is stage performance mastery.
Yes.
And, oh, actually, I should say, I forgot this. So The script writing mastery portion of the program is 3.5 months. Okay, so all of this happens over the course of 3.5 months, and it's entirely virtual. So all of this will occur from the comfort of your own home or your vacation or your office, wherever you happen to be.
Yeah.
Now, with Stage Performance Mastery, we bring you back here to campus, and we dive into the process of rehearsing your script. You learned the heroic 7-step rehearsal process this morning, but likely you are not an expert at it yet, because learning about something is obviously different than being able to do it and being able to do it well. So what we do in the Stage Performance Mastery is we dive into that 7-step rehearsal process on your own unique script. We will even have a class where we have you get out your calendar and you time block what you're going to work on and when. So you create a rehearsal schedule for yourself. So you don't have to worry going, okay, I have the script, but now what do I do? I'm just alone in my room. How do I make it good? So we tell you what to work on and when, because the order in which you rehearse the different elements of your speech does matter. Now, during this process of rehearsal, we are going to work on up-leveling your stagecraft and your professionalism. Now, stagecraft and professionalism includes your voice, your speech, your movement, your blocking and staging, your analysis, your content mapping, your stage presence, your audience interaction, your comedic abilities. I could go on. But in essence, we're looking at the tools that allow you to be best in class. So we will work on this process. We will work on your stagecraft for 3 months. You will come here once a month for 3 days at a time. So for instance, if the second phase of your program, the Stage Performance Mastery phase, begins in January, you would come here for 3 days in January, 3 days in February, and 3 days in March. And at the end of the process, you will have an audience-ready performance, and you will have the skill set of a performer, which you can apply to, we've had students tell us that they're better at pitching, they're better at selling, they're better at leading meetings. We've even had students tell us that they nailed their wedding vows because of the work they did in grad. I mean, we can't guarantee that your love life will be improved as a result of attending grad, but honestly, based on the feedback, we can't not guarantee it. At the end of this process, you'll have that audience-ready performance. We also are going to give you a sneak peek of our business mastery program. We have a separate business mastery program, but as part of grad, we give you a curated Kickstart course that teaches you things like how to get gigs, how to set your fees, and the like. It's a series of videos and worksheets that you get access to. So this is added in there. Now, during the Stage Performance Mastery phase, you are working with the performance faculty, several of whom you have met, all of whom have world-class performance training, are Masters of Craft and Master Teachers. Now, the structure of the days is a little different in grad than it is in this program, which we call CORE. In CORE, we've kept you all together for full group learning sessions. However, in grad is an experiential learning experience, whereas this is an intellectual one. And so in grad, we'll often start together in a group at the beginning of the day, exploring a certain topic. You'll have a class. After that, we'll break out into smaller groups for the rest of the day. So you can take that skill, whatever we're focused on, you can learn it, and then you can apply it to your own speech, your own script.
With faculty members. So you work really in small groups with faculty, hands-on with your work. So you're receiving guidance and feedback all day.
Yes, you're consistently getting feedback through on your feet coaching, small rehearsal groups, workshops, classes, master classes, and also performance and notes, where you perform, you share a section of your speech, and then you get written notes that are big picture and little picture to help you figure out how to move forward. I think it's a good time to talk about group training, because group training is what this is. It's public speaking. It's not private speaking. So it is a group training, and like we're saying, you will get feedback. at all the crucial inflection points of the process. So, for instance, we've talked in stage performance mastery that's occurring every day, throughout the day from faculty in big and small groups. How it works in speech writing mastery is that at the end of Module 1, ideation, every student will get feedback and guidance on their big idea so that you're ready to move into the scaffolding part of the program. At the end of Module 2 scaffolding, you have written your outline. You will have guidance from a faculty member on your outline so that you know you're ready to move into the writing piece of the program. Then at the end of script writing, Module 3, you have written a draft. You are going to turn in that draft to a heroic editor. They are going to do a full developmental edit on your draft. Now this is really important. It is not a line edit. It's a developmental edit, meaning they are not looking at your grammar or punctuation because it's a speech, it's not a book. You can spell words however you would like and no one will ever know, for better or worse. They are looking instead at the big picture things that they can help improve about your speech. They're looking at stakes, the arc, the flow, emotionality, contrast. They're digging into the spine of your speech and honing that. So you turn that draft into your editor. They will do the full developmental edit. They will give you feedback in both video and written form. You will take that feedback, you will integrate it, and you will write a second draft. You will turn that draft into your editor. They will do a second full developmental edit so that you are ready to move into the stage performance mastery phase with your rehearsal ready draft. Now, from start to finish, you are under our care for 6.5 months. The first half is 3.5 months. It's entirely virtual. At the end, you have the rehearsal ready draft. The second phase is 3 months in person, and at the end, you have the audience ready performance, and you have the skill set of a true performer. Let's show them James.
Yeah, great. Okay, so I'm going to show you a before and after video of a student who actually went through grad. His name is James Martin. Now, James was not a professional speaker, and his goal wasn't to become a professional speaker. He falls more in the category of a mission-driven speaker. James is an audiologist, and he realized that he was one of only a handful of Black audiologists in the country, and so he wanted to build a meaningful speech that he could take around to colleges to talk about the field of audiology. So you're going to see this before and after. And you know how in an infomercial, there's usually that little fine print at the bottom that says, "Warning, this is the only person that's ever achieved these results. We're not even sure how it happened." That's not the case with this. We went through hundreds of videos that we've produced for our students over the years, and we really wanted to find one that had typical results. Not average, because the work our students do is not average work, but typical results that you could achieve through going through this program. Now, the before video was taken after that rehearsal ready draft was written, but before going through the actual performance training. And then the second video, the after video, was taken just 3 months later after that guidance, after learning the craft, the stage craft. You'll also notice it was in our former space across town before we moved into this space. So let's check out James Martin.
So I grew up in a very small town in North Carolina. I was one of the 7 Black kids in the school. It was one of the best days of my life, this day walking into our high school, because the day before, I just signed to go to the Ohio State Wildcat Scholarship. So I was excited. I was thrilled, because my mom told me that she didn't have money as a single parent to send me to school. And I wanted to be a band director. That was my passion. But my mom taught me out of it because she said, band directors didn't work in hours.
This is the after video.
When I was in high school, I was featured in Sports Illustrated because of my ability in track and field. It got the attention of Division I university programs across the country. After several months of visiting different colleges, I decided to sign a letter of intent to the Ohio State University. My mom was so proud that her son would get an education that she would not be able to provide. It was one of the happiest days of my life. And my mom too. The next day at school, I was on cloud 9. I was so excited. As I walked down the hall, I saw one of our guidance counselors, and she waved at me and asked me to step over to her office. I still remember the smell of the fresh cut grass that was coming through the open window in her office. She sat at her desk. She leaned forward. She looked me in the eyes and she said, "James, you know, you aren't smart enough to go to college. Especially one as big and as fancy as Ohio State. You don't have what it takes. You're not capable enough. You're not smart enough. You're just going to go to that school, get lost, flunk out, and bring disgrace to this school, to this community, and your family. You know what I think you ought to do? I think you ought to turn down that scholarship. Let them offer it to somebody else who is more capable and smarter and can take advantage of the resources that Ohio State has to offer." I stopped, breathing. I was in complete shock. Then she said, "Just think about what I said. You can go now." All day long, I was in a haze. I kept thinking, was what she said true? Would I go to that school and flunk out? Would I bring embarrassment to this town and community and to my family? Should I give up the scholarship? She was an adult. She had gone to college. She was a counselor. What did she know that I didn't know at 18 years old? I never told anybody what she said to me that day. And I hated the feeling that people saw me as an athlete, but I couldn't manage to get an education. I hated that in my small town, I got no respect just because of the color of my skin. Later that day at track practice, as I was running around and replaying the events of the day, I stopped. And I told myself, I am going to go to the university. And whether I succeed or fail, it'll be by my hands. Not the speculation of someone else. And I determined that I was going to take the poop of my past and I was going to turn it into the fertilizer for my future. Fast forward 30 years, I did finish my degree at Ohio State. I also completed my master's and my doctorate degree. I've traveled the world. I helped a baby here for the very first time. I've seen families re-engaged. I've seen lives changed because of something that I did. I wonder what their lives would be like if I'd listened to all those people that said, "You're not smart enough. You're not capable enough. You're just not enough. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't, that you're not strong enough, that you're not capable enough. Take every challenge that comes your way and filter it and recycle it through determination, perseverance, and grit.
That's James. As I said, he was not a professional speaker, and that wasn't his goal. He really just wanted to make an impact in his community and create something substantial and to bring that to students. He wasn't sure how he was going to achieve the goal when he entered the program, but he created this video for him, and it ended up on the desk of one of the largest associations for audiology in the country. And they called him up out of the blue one day and they said, "Hey, we saw this video of you speaking, and we're not sure if you have time for it, but we would love to hire you for a 15-city speaking tour talking to students about audiology. Would you be interested?" He called us to tell us the good news, and he said he had to pinch himself because it felt like he dreamed this into existence. Now, we use this video in particular for a couple of reasons. Obviously, he is performing with a high level of craft. You get to actually see some of the things that we started to show you over the past couple of days, but also because I think the message is so profound on a lot of different levels. You can relate to it on a lot of different levels. For me, what speaks to me about it is this idea of critics, our relationship to these external critics, these internal critics, and this idea of these voices that tell you that you should be smaller, that you should aim smaller, that you should just be smaller. One of my favorite things, and something that has just given me so much in my life over the past 3 years being the creative director here, is that I get to see incredible people walk through these doors, and it's a really vulnerable thing. It's a courageous thing. You all coming here even. To be amongst peers who also see something about the world that they really believe needs to change, or they want to reach their communities in some way, they want to improve themselves in some way. And I get to see person after person just unpack and evolve in such a surprising way. And in the process of doing that, you would not believe the community that is formed going through this program. If I could, I would transport you all to graduation day to be a fly on the wall of what these students say to each other. We often have to flick the lights because we all have to drive home at some point. But there's lots of tears, and the lifelong collaborators, creators, the friendships that are formed through this program is outstanding. And I truly wish that everybody could experience what it is, because I believe in it wholeheartedly on a personal and a professional level.
Yeah, so you may feel drawn to enroll in grad because you want the deliverable. You just want the speech that you can take to market. That's great. Or you may feel drawn to enroll in grad because you want that skill set that you can apply in many different ways. Also great. Or, as Russell is speaking to, you may feel drawn to enroll in grad because you want the deep personal development that comes with it. The good thing is, any which way, you get it all. And you get the support of the heroic community. And that's one of our core values, is that you can do more together than you can alone. And that's why when you work with us, you will do more, and the work you do will be better. That we can promise. So let's get into some logistics, and we'll hand out enrollment forms, and we'll take your questions. We have a session starting in September. That means the script writing mastery phase starts. It starts actually August 30th. It's right at the end of the month, but we'll say September. So the virtual portion starts in September. We also have a session that starts in January. There are dates beyond that. We don't have those written down in the enrollment forms, but if you are curious about them, just ask us and we'll get you those dates. Now, we have an installment model as well as a pay in full option. Most of our students opt to do 18 installments of $15.85. You can also pay in full, which is slightly less, it's $25,850. But most students use the installment plan and do the 18 installments of $15.85. Now, when we hand out the enrollment form, there are 3 things you can do with it. The first, if you are like, I'm in, this is great, I want to secure my spot, fill it out and hand it to Courtney or Andrew, who's in the back over there, our admissions team. It's important that you hand it to only them because they are time stamping these forms, because the cohort choice is dependent on the order in which we receive them. So if you really want September or January, but it's filled up, we will determine that by the order in which we receive them. The second option, if you are like, I'm super in, I love this, but I need to talk to my person at home, we get it. Still fill out that form. There is a box on the top that you can check that will say pending confirmation. Just check that box. That means we will not do anything with your application until we talk to you and we get confirmation from you. So you can fill it out, hand it in to Courtney or Andrew. The third option, if you have questions, if there's something you want to address privately with us, maybe you want to ensure that this is in fact 100% right for you, please use the QR code on the bottom of the enrollment form and get on the schedule for a phone call with us this week.
Now, you might be thinking, I've loved the past 2 days, I totally see the value in this, but I'm worried that I'm not ready to start training. I'm just not ready. And I totally get that. If you're about to embark on a journey that's going to be substantial, that's going to cause you to go through some real growth, some challenge, I would expect you to have some hesitation around that. But my question, if you think you're not ready, is how are you going to get ready to get ready? How are you going to enter a program that is designed to get you ready to be ready to do the thing that you want to be ready to do? Feel me? Some things in life we are not ready for. This is not one of them. That is what we are here for. That's what we are experts at. Now, Heroic is an educational institution. We are not a sales and marketing driven organization, which means our whole business model is around the efficacy of our programming and the success of our students. When our job as teachers is successful, our students are successful. And when people out there see them being successful, it brings new students that we get to work with. No matter how many people we work with, we never take that relationship for granted. It's one of the reasons why we don't believe in a lot of the crazy, high-pressure kind of sales tactics that are out there. But at the same time, we know that the amount of time you give somebody to make a decision is often the amount of time they will take to make the decision. And so Eli's going to talk about some really awesome bonuses that you will get when you enroll by the end of the day Friday. Again, like you said, if you want to sign up today, go for it. If you're ready, you're like, I just came to court because I want to do grad, go for it. And of course, if you want to talk to people at home, really think about the information, maybe sign up for a call, absolutely. When you enroll by the end of the day Friday, you'll get the bonuses. And of course, if you apply months from now, you'd be thrilled to get your application, but you just won't get the bonuses.
So there are 2 bonuses. The first is 2 hours of private performance coaching with a performance faculty member via Google Meets. You can use these 2 hours at some point in the stage performance mastery part of the program. And getting that kind of high-touch individual attention at that point in the process can be a real game changer. The second bonus is a big one. We're going to bring you back to campus and shoot a speech trailer, a promo video of your speech, like the one you saw with James Martin. It's a video that you can put on your website, you can send it to meeting planners and clients, you can send it to your mom, you could send it to my mom. But actually, I left performing, and so she really needs someone to root for. She'd love to root for you guys. We'll also take you through a 6-week prep process to get you feeling confident and able to nail it on the day of the shoot. We hold several shoot dates throughout the year, and we will send you those dates in an email. You will submit your preferred choice of dates, and we'll get back to you so you know when you're shooting the video. Altogether, these 2 bonuses are valued at $7,500, which is a substantial amount of money, but it is not why people do grad. On its own, grad delivers on its promise. When you work with us, you will get better, and that's why you're here. So we want to show you one more video because we want you to hear from people who've actually done this program. and then we're going to hand out enrollment forms and take your questions.
Most powerful experience I've had with Heroic has been unlocking the earned lessons from my life's journey and finding a way to share them in service to my audience. But Heroic gave me a process that allowed me to figure out how to do it safely, comfortably, and effectively so I can change the lives I believe I'm here to change.
I was able to find my voice and feel validated that it needs to be out there.
I had to have a mindset shift to bet on myself.
This is a place that can change your life if you're willing to let it.
The hardest thing to do is to be comfortable letting it all out and being vulnerable on stage. And help learn how to do that in a supportive and constructive way.
This is something very different. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of vulnerability. It takes a lot of being your authentic self. And to me, you can't do that alone.
I was able to try things and watch others try things and then put them into practice right away. With laser coaching and master classes and so much guidance, we were able to try things, step out of our comfort zone and really make it real. It's not an intellectual journey, it's an experiential journey.
The work that I completed with Heroic could have never, absolutely never, have been done on my own. Because guess what? I tried that. Heroic's programming, love, just everything about this culture helps me be the best that I can be.
If you're interested in transformation, personal transformation and professional transformation, this is a home, this is a safe place for that transformation to occur.
The community of people, the way we all come from such vastly different backgrounds, we're vastly different places in our lives, but the support and having these people there for you and you being able to be there for them, I've never experienced this type of community, and it's a special place, and I'm grateful to walk in these doors every time that I do.
The thing that surprised me the most was that I didn't know a damn thing about speaking. I really thought I did.
I thought I had a speech already ready to go. Well, I had to throw it all away. And also throw away all notions of what speaking meant, what storytelling meant. The beauty of this program is that they give you the tools to work through a script while you're going through grad, and then you have the tools to create another one. They give us the structure in how to make this experience the best for yourself and for others.
The tools and techniques that you take here are applicable to so many areas of your life, more than just speaking on a stage. And unequivocally, I can say that it has moved me forward in ways that I couldn't have done without it.
Every time I start feeling a little demotivated as a performer, I just think about what I learned at Heroic, or connect with somebody I met at Heroic, or come back to Heroic, and I feel invigorated and renewed and ready to take everything to the next level. It's been amazing.
You have to be ready for that journey, because if you're ready to go all in, it gives back to you more than you imagined.
Just the magic that happens, not just when you come into the campus, but there's something about Lambertville in general. It's a little recipe. There's something in there, and all of it is special. And I'm a product of it, and I'm so grateful.
Terrific. So we're going to hand out the enrollment forms. Reminder, you can fill it in and hand it to Courtney or Andrew if you're ready to go. If you need some time to marinate on the decision, you can fill it in and check that box pending confirmation. And then the third option, if you want to talk to us, if you're on the fence, just schedule a phone call. Schedule a phone call using that QR code. Still fill it out and check the box pending confirmation and hand it in to Courtney or Andrew.
Now, this event is not yet over. We still have some classes for you, so we want to get back to getting you on your feet and learning yourselves. But we want to take a couple of questions that we have time for, and other than that, we might have you sign up for the QR code to do the more in-depth questions. What questions do you have, Sean?
So I noticed all the videos that had little letters next to their names
Yes.
and numbers, and I didn't know if that.
Yeah, totally. So the little the titles underneath the people's names, that was the cohort that they were in. So like the 7th cohort, the 9th cohort, like it's the equivalent of saying like alumni of class of 2021. That kind of thing.
Somebody was 25, I'm like, 25 times 25,000.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you don't do the program 25 times. That was just the year that they did it.
Yeah.
What's your question?
My question is, do you guys accept 509 funds?
509 funds. I'm not familiar.
Educational funds.
Educational funds. Julie is shaking her head no.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Oh, hi, question. No, it sounds wonderful and it's fulfilling. My question is, it looks like, I'd like to see, like, what support for marketing or helping, like with James, suddenly that video got to 50 colleges.
Yeah.
That's like great. But like, what support is there after for helping? You know, like, it's a substantial, you know. Well, you
So
know.
here's how the whole structure is kind of baked into it. So the actual content development, we are very confident in knowing what meeting planners are looking for, what is actually relevant out there, helping you get to your audience. So the actual content development tackles that. The actual performance element tackles that, so that the product that you are creating, and that's a huge mindset shift around here, is really focusing on the speech being a product that you want to treat to then launch into the marketplace, not so much positioning yourself as the product. So that's a big part of the training that you get there. And then the Business Mastery Sneak Peek gives you a lot of those tangibles of how to actually start doing those first few steps to build momentum and to start getting those referrals, something called stage side leads, that really start to create exponential gigs. We get into that in detail with the Business Mastery Sneak Peek. And then, not to be underestimated, but the people in your cohort are a huge part of what builds that momentum. I mean, if you think about the connections that you've made in just 2 days, imagine spending 7 months with the same people in a group that is oftentimes smaller than this, usually around 50 people, I would say, is the cohort size. And so we get people who are getting each other gigs before they even graduate. We have people who are already booking gigs, they're getting higher fees by the time they graduate. So it's baked into the whole development, rehearsal, and then the actual skills that you learn afterwards.
Yeah, we always say speakers get speakers work.
Yeah. Yeah. Time for one more question. Yes.
2 parts.
Yeah.
Is there a maximum number of people that are in each cohort? If so, is it? And the second part is, in the first half of the program, how much of the virtual is actually facilitated versus us watching courses or doing these on our own? Like, what's the facilitation part?
You want to take it? Sure.
Yeah, sure. So during the speech writing mastery, you have sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays that are 90 minutes live with either AJ or Allison Lee.
Yeah.
Those are our 2 teachers. So that's a live. We also recorded those. So if you can't watch it for any, you can watch it later. And then we have worksheets, templates, and we have some other video sessions that you learn from as well.
So it's a combination.
And then your first question was around cohort size?
Size, yeah. Is there a maximum size, minimum size?
I don't think we have a rule around that, but for our purposes too, it's not effective if it's more than, it's definitely never more than this, and it hovers usually around 45, 50, I would say. Yeah. That's all the time we have for questions now, but please, during the break, we're gonna have a little bit of a longer break coming up. Andrew's back here, he'd be happy to answer some questions. We got Courtney, they can help you fill out those forms. And please use that QR code if you just want to talk more about options, all that good stuff. Please set up an appointment to talk to Andrew on our team, and you can figure out your specific situation. And then we'll get back to teaching you all for the rest of the afternoon. So thank you so much. We'll be back for
Speak with Strength.
Speak with Strength, the vocal class.
Yeah. Thank you all.